Rock. Right on, guys. Right on. Welcome to this month's mastermind call. We have the ultimate SEO strategy leads to you. We all want to know how we can get more leads going straight into your DM, into your inbox. And we have the man, Dan Hale, here to teach us a little bit about that. Before we get into that, I certainly see some familiar faces, but some new faces. I wanted to touch a little bit on what the Real Estate Collective is. We are here as a community. We're here with the same purpose to help each other grow our businesses, to grow, to collaborate, realtors helping realtors, raising the standard in the industry. As Scotty H would say, realtors helping realtors, let's go. And so we're lucky to have this community, and if we wouldn't have it, we have our founder on here today, Micah Sadler. Without his hard work and the years and years of work that he's put into growing this community, it's really starting to grab momentum, really started to take off. Not to mention, he kind of stole the show there a minute ago, but we found out last night that he's going to be representing the collective and our brokerage at the Canadian Convention next month in Montreal. He's going to be hitting the stage, not once, but twice, main stage. So congratulations, Micah, on that. Big round of applause, please, and thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You earned it, and we appreciate you for putting this community together. But I certainly want to make sure that we're using every minute today. We've got Dan Hale here. I've known Dan now for about 5 years. I know him through this business. I know a lot of you actually on this call through this business, and that's something super special about it. But Dan's a great real estate agent. He's a great human. He's a great family man. But he has a lot to teach us. And so, Dan, why don't you jump on here, man? We appreciate you contributing to this community. We know that you have a lot of skill. And I think we all want to learn what you're about to teach us today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Thanks for coming, brother. And we're looking forward to this call.
Yeah, for sure, guys. So first, thanks to Micah and the Real Estate Collective for setting this up and all you guys for jumping in today. I'm going to try to share as much as I possibly can about how to get leads to you that are going to come directly to you using SEO. Okay, this is one of my favorite strategies that I like to use. I did marketing before real estate, jumped into real estate about 4 years ago, used to own a gym, COVID hit, stopped doing the whole gym thing, jumped into real estate, and now I dived all into this. So I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to just jump right into it. I'm going to get you guys to jump in with me too. I'm probably going to ask you some questions just to keep things engaged. And I want to learn more about the clients that you guys are looking for yourselves as well. And then at the end, I'm going to kind of help and see what I think would be a good strategy to help you guys get those leads. Okay, so let's start with, you know what? I'll just share my screen right now. Give me a second.
If you guys want to ask a question throughout this too, just raise your hand and I'll hopefully get you in when I can, when it's appropriate.
Yeah, completely interrupt me. Settings. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. It's asking me to do something to share my screen here.
Go.
Can you guys see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so I put this little presentation together here. I'm probably going to veer off of it, I won't lie, but I've got it there just to keep me on track. So first thing I want to talk about is what is SEO? Okay, so that stands for search engine optimization. Okay, this to me is probably the biggest thing that I'm doing right now to get leads. And I love these leads. When they come to you, they're not talking to any other agents, which is a beautiful thing. They're not nickel and diming you on your commission. They're ready to go. Okay? So SEO, you have to understand Google, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all of these platforms are running off of an algorithm now that has a search engine. So I put something else out the other day looking for an agent in Killaloe, Ontario, very niche city. I'm like, don't know any agents there. I put it out in EXP and people are like, that's super, super niche. So what did I do? I went to Instagram. I typed in Killaloe real estate agent. Bang, they popped up. I passed on the referral. Okay. So these search engines are all meant so that people go to them on their desktop, they go to them on their phone, and they type something in that they're looking for. And then these search engines, Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, their job is to give the person what they're looking for, that information. And they want to give them the best piece of information that they possibly can. Okay. So just a quick question for you guys. How many of you have went to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Google to solve one of your problems? You can go ahead and just chuck it in the chat for me.
100%.
Pretty much everybody, right? Okay, so that being said, when I'm doing that, you guys see this is basically how I am attracting people. Okay, so see if it can work. Okay, so I just went over that real quick. These are the platforms that people are searching on: Google, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. And I was just on vacation with my stepson in January, or sorry, December, and he told me that his generation now is barely using Google anymore to search to solve their problems and their stuff. They're using TikTok. And I'm like, I'm always listening to what the next generation is doing and following all these things. And I'm like, that makes sense. And then I'm seeing people advertising this a lot about how TikTok is now a search engine that a lot of people are using. Very underutilized, but something that we have to think about as agents, because when you're trying to keep up with this stuff, I always go where other people aren't because then I generate more leads. But it's crazy. You got to keep that in mind. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a couple examples now of my results and other people's results. Okay. So this right here is the power of SEO. Okay. In the months of January and February, I had 148 people search mine for me on Google and these on Google specifically. Okay. 148 people searched for me in the months of January and February. Okay. 64 of these people came from Google search using mobile on their phone. 20 or 47 of these people came from Google search on desktop. 24 came from desktop on the map pack. Do you guys know what the map pack is?
I
Okay,
don't.
so if I Google like real estate agent in Burlington, Ontario, there's always like that map pack, or like let's say you Google like massages in Burlington, Ontario. You see there's a local map that pops up on your Google page right away, and there's the top three. Okay, so 24 of those people found me in that desktop map pack. Another 13 found me on their mobile map pack. Okay, so here's the thing I want you guys to understand on this. These are not paid ads. These are not them stumbling across this. This is people typing in my name, Daniel Hale Realtor, and stumbling across my Google My Business page. Okay. So 148 people in 2 months. Even if I can capture a small portion of those, I've got a good amount of clients per month that are coming directly to me. Okay. Now, the next one right here, you can see if you go to Google and you type in Daniel Hale Realtor, on average, 90 people per month are typing this in. Okay. So if I ask you a question in the chat again, how many of you guys know how many people are typing your name in a month? Don't know, right? It's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you do know. Don't sweat it. That's not a trick question. Okay. So, how I find this out, because some of you guys might be wondering that, the tool that I use, I'll show you how to use this. Okay. It's called Keywords Everywhere. Now, this is my best friend. I love this tool. It's 15 bucks a month. I plug this into my Google Chrome. And the way that this works is anytime I am typing something into the Google search bar, the YouTube search bar, anything, it shows me how many times the consumer is typing that in per month. So you can see where I'm going with this, how powerful that is. Okay. So I know that 90 people a month on average are searching my name. My job is to get this up and up and up and keep getting that up. And the more that I get that up, the more leads that I get coming to me, the more money I make, the more my business grows, everything. So it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so excuse me, let me take a sip of water real quick. So, how do I generate leads using SEO? This is who I'm going to tag you guys in. I'm going to give you a second. I want you to write this down, think about it in your mind, whatever it is. Okay, I call this who is your avatar? Okay, who is your client? Right? And why I like avatar, because it's like I play Roblox with my daughter sometimes, and before you jump in, you create your own avatar. You get to pick who that person is, you all that stuff, the fun things like a video game. Your avatar, okay, is your client, right? Now, when I say who is your avatar, I want you guys to write it down. And when I say that, it could be a parent with kids, first-time home buyer, someone looking to downsize, an investor, someone looking for a rural property, lawyer, mortgage broker, luxury homes. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, I want to work with everybody. I get it, but you can do that with each specific content you want to create. But for now, let's imagine as if we're going to put out some posts and we're going to create some content right now. And I want you guys to think about who your avatar is. And when I say that, who's going to get you excited to get out of bed in the morning? Who do you want calling you every day to be your client? Who do you want to work with? Right? Who excites you? Who's going to make this business fun for you? Okay, so go ahead and write down and keep it to yourself. It's totally fine. Who you guys want that to be, okay? Now, the next thing I want to ask you guys, how well do you know them? And when I say that, I'm not talking about personally. I'm talking about, well, sure, it could be, but I'm talking about how well do you know who that person is? What, right? And when I say that again, what kind of problems does that avatar have, your client have? So I need you to put yourself in your client's shoes and ask yourself, what kind of problems does my client that I want consistently have all the time? And this is something that I mentally do with all my clients when I'm talking to them. If I get asked the same question twice, I pull out my phone and I write it down in my notes. Because I guarantee you, you're going to get it asked a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and it's going to get asked that question all the time. That's your next piece of content. Okay. So how this really works, the true like meat and potatoes of this. I see people put out content all the time. I see them kind of just throwing it out there without a full thought process on it. And 9 times out of 10, the content that they're putting out, it's good. It's still good, but it's not solving a problem. That is the biggest thing that I can tell you guys. When you're putting out the piece of content and you're researching how to solve your avatar's problem, you're their real estate agent. I promise you, if you put the content in front of them that solves their problem, they're gonna call you. And I'm very much like that. When I'm looking for something for one of my kids, or I'm like, I have a problem, I go to YouTube, I go to Google, I go to TikTok to find that problem. Whoever solves it for me, I swear I don't care to call anybody else. I'm like, this is my guy. This is what I want to do. Bang, that's who I'm calling. Okay. So now let's go over the SEO game plan to make this work. Okay. But it all starts with who am I attracting? Who's my avatar? The next thing is, what problem do they have that I know I can solve for them? Right? So if you specialize in something, selling real properties, selling luxury real estate, investors, whatever that is, build it from there. I want 1 million of those clients. I want to solve 1 million of their problems. I'm going to get 1 million leads and I'm going to make a lot of money. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how the research goes to make this work now. Okay. So my keywords everywhere tool. I have an SEO strategy page that I use. This, I dumbed it down a little bit here just to keep things simple on this chart. All right. So here, just give me 1 second. Move this. Just want to make sure my keywords is on. Yeah, it's on. Okay, sweet. Okay, so this is my SEO strategy page that I like to use while I'm building out my content. Okay, I build out the strategy. I build out everything first before I create the content, before I do all that. So the first thing on this chart is the keyword. Okay, the next one is the search volume, and the next one is the title. Okay. So first, I'm going to choose an avatar. Now, I'm just going to use something that a lot of people do I'm very familiar with, but this will work for anything, okay? Someone looking to relocate to Hamilton, Ontario. This could be someone looking to relocate to Kitchener, relocate anywhere, just someone looking to move. Maybe they're leaving Toronto because Toronto is too expensive now. They want to go to a cheaper city, right? I get a lot of doctors, I get a lot of nurses, I get a lot of people moving to McMaster University because of this. All of this because of those specific types of content. Okay. So my avatar that I'm going to choose right now is somebody that's looking to relocate. So what would they be typing into the search bar? Actually, before I show you that, what do you guys think they'd be typing into the search bar if they're looking to relocate to another city, right? They're probably
Moving to
typing,
that city, or
sorry?
yeah, I would suggest like moving to Kitchener Waterloo as an example.
I would say hospitals. What's the hospital?
Okay, so 20 people are typing that in a month, moving to Kitchener. You said what was the other one? The hospitals?
Yeah.
That's actually really smart.
Well, if it's the doctors you're looking for.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Whoa. Okay. So you see, here's the thing. You just made my next piece of content. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
you're welcome.
yes. So basically, you can see how this works. It all starts inside your head. Thinking and putting yourself in your client's shoes. What are they thinking? What are they doing?
Mm.
Now, the one about moving somewhere, I'm just using this specifically right now because I do see a lot of people using it, right? There's many, many things that you can do. Okay? So living in Hamilton is typed in 210 times. Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods, 390. Buying a house in Hamilton, 720. Okay, so I'll tell you real quickly about a post that I did once that absolutely crushed it. And the title of that was Never Buy a House in Hamilton, Ontario. Okay, and this was typed in 720 times a month. I knew that. But I went the opposite strategy of it. Never buy it. And my trick on this was not to say you actually shouldn't. It was more along the lines of never buy a house in Hamilton, Ontario, unless you know these things. And I talked about like 5 strategies that are like just you need to know them when you're buying a house in Hamilton. Hamilton is very known, in my opinion, for people that are trying to flip properties real quick. They cut corners. You got to be careful what you're buying there. There's all sorts of issues that you can come across. And I took those issues and I planted them in this video that people watched. It did very, very well. And then afterwards, people are like, wow, I don't want to stumble across any of those issues. I'm calling this guy and I'm hiring him, right? So did extremely well. Okay, so these are the types of things that people are going to be typing in. So moving on with the strategy, and again, I found that by going using my keywords everywhere tool. I start typing in things all the time, just trying to figure out what people are searching most.
Mm.
What problem are they having? How can I use this and take advantage of it and dissect it? Okay, so now the next thing here, I start filling out my chart. Okay. I have living in Hamilton 210 times a month. Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods 390 times a month. Okay. Buying a house in Hamilton, Ontario 790. I have all that. I know all that. Now here's my titles. Okay. Now I want you guys to understand, I'm not just trying to teach you YouTube right now. I'm trying to teach you blogs. I'm trying to teach you TikTok. I'm trying to teach like this is everything. Don't just veer towards one thing. So here's my titles that I can come up with using this keyword. Notice how the keywords are in every single title. What it's like living in Hamilton, okay? What the locals say about living in Hamilton. Great one.
Mm.
You guys want to have fun, take your camera, walk around Kitchener, go down by the beach or wherever it is that you guys are and ask 10 locals what it's like to live there. Slap a video on there and see how authentic it is because you're the realtor walking around asking them their opinion. Watch what happens on that video. Okay? The worst Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods to live in. This is another video I'm going to share with you guys that I did. Why I shared the worst, not the best. Okay? I'll explain that in a minute. The best Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods. You guys kind of get the picture. These titles could be whatever you want them to be, right? you just have to have your keyword and then you can make up the rest, right? Put some flair into it. Make it fun. Make your blog look like I want to click on that, right? Then you'll see the keyword is connected because they typed it into the search bar. They stumbled across your blog, your video, your YouTube, wherever you posted it, and then they're going to watch it because that's what they're searching for. And the search algorithm gave it to them. And keep in mind, this is free. You're not paying anything for this. Okay. Now, where to create and post this content. Kind of already went over that. Okay. And this, I just put this in here for now, just so you guys can see it. If I go to ChatGPT and I give it my keywords and I tell it to write a blog for me, it's going to have it done in 10 seconds. That's how easy and crazy this is. That I literally can go on there and be like, hey, take this, put these keywords in it, make sure these keywords are in it, write this blog for me. Now I'll go over it still just to make sure that it makes sense and it's good. I'll put some pictures in it. I'll put my stuff on it. And then I'm starting to easily create content once a week, no problem. It's done. Okay. Now, here's one of the videos that I did. I want to show you guys an example. Okay. You guys can see this video. These are my analytics on one of them. Okay. This is why I love this so much. This video was posted in 2022 in December. It's averaging 25 views every 48 hours still to this date. That is a couple hundred, what is that? 3, 4, I don't know, 400 views a month on a video I posted in 2022. Okay. It currently has 32,533. Now, I'll tell you how I came up with this strategy, and this video is generating a lot of leads because I focused on the problem. The problem is what really created the leads. So what I did was, I'm going to go back to here for a second. Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods. Okay. This one was actually the worst Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods to live in. Why I did that was because I know all these people right here that are typing this in a month, looking for neighborhoods in Hamilton, Ontario, would type that in. And my goal was to scare them. As funny as it sounds, I wanted them to say, whoa, these are the worst areas to live in. Where are the best areas to live in? I didn't talk about that at all in the video. I did about 4 or 5 neighborhoods that I don't recommend that they live in. And at the end of the video, what I said was, if you want to know the good areas to live in Hamilton, Ontario, the best ones, shoot me an email, send me a text, or give me a call. So that mom that wants to make sure that her kid's going to a great school in a good neighborhood, somebody that doesn't want to live in a bad neighborhood, saw that video, it was informative, and I tricked them. I showed them the problem, I put it in front of their face, and then I got them to call me to discuss where should I live. And the comment section is full of people that are just like, what do you think about this neighborhood? What do you think about this neighborhood? This one's good, this one's bad, right? And just all conversation. So you can see how that generated those leads. Now, I'm going to show you another thing that somebody else is doing. You guys are going to all know this name. I guarantee it. Okay. The Golfy team. A lot of the big teams are doing this as well. Okay. Do you guys see a sponsored ad here anywhere? No, because it's SEO ranked. He's used SEO on this. Hamilton, Ontario neighborhoods. If you type that into Google, here's Rob Golfy's blog. Okay. Top 10 neighborhoods in Hamilton, Ontario. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of these seeds, these blogs posted all over Google that are SEO ranked. He SEO'd them all, made them nice, and people are stumbling across them. They're on the first page of Google when somebody types this in. Okay? And there's no money spent on this. This is just a blog. Now, the cool thing about this is when they click on it, you can have all of your information that you're going to share with them. That's SEO driven because you have your keyword in there, right? And there's multiple ways you can capture that lead. You can give them something at the end where when they scroll down to the bottom and they're done reading, the more they read, the hotter that lead is. by the way, if they get to the bottom. And on your blog, you should have a couple touch points, couple widgets, I like to say, at the top, somewhere to put your information, in the middle, and at the bottom. Because some people might read halfway and say, oh, I've got enough info, bang, type it out. Some people might want to keep reading, they're done, bang, they type it out. Okay. And that could be anything, a simple PDF, an ebook. Give me my top 10 neighborhoods to live in Kitchener-Waterloo. Bang, there it is. You've now got their information. You can call them, right? Now, the other thing that's done on this, how many of you guys have an IDX on your website? Some of you, right? So this is super cool. You can tell your IDX to curate a list of homes in the neighborhoods that are in this blog. And at the bottom of the blog, they see those lists of homes. So if they're looking to buy, they'll book a showing straight from your blog. You guys don't even know who this person is, right? And they'll go down, they'll scroll down, they'll type it in, bang, fill it out, do all that stuff. Next thing you know, they're messaging you and you're like, whoa, like who's this person wants to see this $1 million home in Burlington right now? I've never met before. Okay. And this will happen, I promise you. Here's another one. I'm sure you guys know this team too. Okay. These two teams are very, very well known in my area. These blogs, I don't see any sponsored ads anywhere, right? And this is what I'm trying to show you guys. You don't have to spend money to do this. It's not about money. It's about SEO. It's about ranking. It's about putting your keywords out there and doing all that stuff, right? And like I said, these are little seeds. You plant a seed, you get a tree, right? They're planting these seeds all over the internet with multiple different keywords. You can do one blog a week, no problem. Super easy. You got 4 a month, right? Was that like 48 by the end of the year? At the end of that year, you're going to see the difference in your lead generation and your rankings. Okay. Now, kind of finishing this off, which is good because we have a lot of extra time here. So, how to boil that down again. The biggest thing, I've been doing this for a few years, and for a while, I didn't see the leads that I wanted. I didn't see the lead flow that I wanted until I switched things and I shifted towards the problem. So I'm kind of like I'm obsessed with watching videos and learning and reading. And I was reading a book that said, if you want to learn how to get rich, learn how to solve people's problems. If you want to get super rich, learn how to solve rich people's problems. Okay. And it's funny because as soon as I heard that it's all about solving people's problems, I completely switched my content to just solving problems all the time. That's all I focus on. And the lead generation switch that I got is insane, night and day. And all I hear all the time people contact me is, thank you so much for putting that out there. That helped me so much. It saved me from X, Y, and Z before I buy this home. I didn't even know that. Or like, it's all that stuff that super helps. Okay. So when I'm following a step here, I choose my avatar, right? I learn everything there is to know about that avatar. And it's super cool. I'm not lying to you. I got 5 new doctors in the last year that are my best clients now. And they all come from the same types of content. And as crazy as this sounds, when the interest rates went nuts, they were all saying the same thing to me. It was like music to my ears. They're like, I don't care what the interest rates are. I'll buy it cash if I have to. And I'm like, okay, all right, we're in business. So now here, okay, research the problem that they have that you can solve. Okay, research the keywords that they are frequently using. Use those keywords to create content that solves their problems. And again, become the solution to their problem, and they will never choose another real estate agent again. And I promise you, you'll be their biggest referral. Okay, so that's what I wanted to go over with you guys now. And then I'm going to kind of just, let me see, stop sharing for a second. I wanted to give this strategy of what I'm doing. Okay. And now I want to kind of go over things with you guys to either if you guys have questions that you want to go over, I'd be more than happy to chat with them. Or if you guys have an avatar that you want to talk about, then we can kind of maybe dissect it together on what our content strategy should be and how we can go after those leads. So I'll let you guys decide what you want to do on that.
Yeah, well, we think about that too, man. That was incredible, Dan. Obviously, I think when people aren't saying much, they're in deep thought. So I think you have a lot of people thinking a little bit bigger about all this. I know I am thinking about like what my actual avatar should be, my ideal customer profile, and maybe I'm not thinking big enough. That's like what I'm literally thinking about right now too, because at the end of the day, you said something there too that I heard the other day, right? It's like, people are you get paid for the problems that you solve, and that's completely true. And then it's like I think it was a podcast interview or something with a woman, and she was like, "But what I do is I solve rich people's problems." Because rich people will pay you a lot of money to save them time. That's
That's,
literally what they will
yeah,
do, right?
that's,
And so
that's,
like
yeah.
maybe I'm not thinking big enough, and maybe I have to change what my avatar looks like and getting those ideal clients, man. Like who wants to work with people where money doesn't really matter? They have a
Mhm.
copious amounts of it. They understand the importance of buying back time with money, leveraging cash. And obviously, with that comes a much higher average price point and a higher average commission, like 100%.
Well, and
So,
Mhm.
like,
typically you don't
oh
have to
man,
fight for your commission either, right? Like a lot of the times when we're doing luxury listings or bigger ticket items, to your point, you don't have to fight for 3%, right?
Mhm.
When your standard is 5, all right, cool. They trust the process, they trust the expert, and you're not negotiating that.
big
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and I think that is the biggest thing because, obviously we want to work with everybody, and sometimes people just aren't ready yet. And of course, they can go into your CRM and you can work them, but when you want to stay busy and you want to generate a lot of business, you need to think about who is ready now. Who is that buyer? Who has that money? Who's ready to rock? And I feel like the way that I've got my content strategy down now, I barely have to ask people if they're pre-approved. It's like, and I don't mean that in a way like as if you shouldn't, but they come to you ready to rock. Like they're like, I'm ready to buy something now. It's why I'm searching. And Google is the highest, like the warmest leads you could possibly get, in my opinion. If somebody's searching for something, they're typically ready to go on it. And that's exactly what it is. I learn how to solve the rich person's problem, and that's it. It's done. You know for sure they're going to be coming to you and they're going to be referring you. And I think maybe that's really what the key was for me is changing that problem, right? Or directing it to the problem.
So Dan, can we let's run through that aspect. We're talking about luxury. Can we do the the search keyword search to maybe create like a relocating luxury client to see what we come up with?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
so let's all kind of let's create an avatar together of what that would look like, and then we'll go through that process. Once we do that, one of the questions Emily has here, and I kind of had the same thought of like kind of where you would then once you have your avatar sorted out, where do you kind of go? Where would you start? Obviously, you have a very established business, Dan, and have been doing this for quite some time. That one video going back all the way to 2022, still getting 25 views every 2 days, which is insane, right? That's like that passive prospecting that Levi always talks about too. And so we can maybe touch on that a little bit too, where we would go if you were starting from ground one today. What would you do? What would be the first steps after creating this avatar?
Yeah, the first thing, I know you just said after creating the avatar, but that really is the first thing, is creating the avatar. Because again, I got a little bit, I don't want to say like wasting my time, but I got annoyed with certain clients that would waste your time, take you out, and they weren't ready, or they just couldn't pull a trigger, or you start working for them, next thing you know, they're asking you for a cash back and just like almost belittling your service a little bit. And that's when I said to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna, and this was going back like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this with these types of people for 6 months, 4 to 6 months. And the reason why I said that is because I know that this type of SEO takes about 4 to 6 months to really start kicking. So I was like, oh, I'll take what's in front of me right now and I'll do that. And then I'm gonna build that out. And then as soon as I get to that point where it's built out, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going with who I want to work with. So the first thing is really make the job fun. Ask yourself who you guys want to work with. Like, who's going to get you up every single day to make this fun? And creating this content is fun. So first thing would be getting that avatar, figuring it out, and just putting myself in their shoes. what is that problem? What do I know that, you know? And by the way, when you go on people's websites and you see the frequently asked questions that are always there, those are frequently asked questions. But keep in mind, they're not just there because they're the frequently asked questions. They're there because they're ranked with SEO tags on them. So when someone types them in, Google picks that up, right? So I would say after I figure out that avatar, it's literally, and it sounds funny, but when I do meet my clients and I meet my leads, I swear I feel like I've just met the same person over and over and over again at this point now, because it's really put together like that. So yeah, it's get that avatar, right? And then as soon as I have that avatar, it's figuring out what their main problems are that are asked a lot. And then I'm going to start building out the content that I feel will solve that problem. And I also need to make sure that I have a little bit of a flair, I like to call it, on that content. The title, the first 10 seconds, if it's a video, that needs to catch them, right? If you watch any of my stuff, the funny thing is, I never started off with my name's Daniel Hale, I'm a real estate agent, because I'm going to be honest, they don't care. They're not there for that. They're there for the problem first. After I solve the problem and I hit them with what this blog is about or the video is about, then I introduce myself, right? But the first 30 seconds is always like, I'm here, hey, here's your problem. Stick with me for a second because I'm about to solve it. And then I talk, I put my info down, but that's how I would do it.
Cool. So let's let's kind of create an avatar and kind of go through that process. Does that sound good? Does everybody want to do that? Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Jerry, you wanna jump in, or do you want me to kind of just start
You guys can see
building
my
one out?
screen again, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's jump in because I feel like it's everybody's mind that can help make this work, right? Like what Jen just chucked at me about searching what hospitals are local. That was quite the popular search, right? And again, the reason why moving to Hamilton works so well, or whatever area you're in, if you have a hospital there, if you have a university there, parents are looking to buy something for their kids for the next 4 years while they're in school, right? Constantly doctors and people looking to relocate. And I'm telling you right now, I've had a lot of doctors buy real estate from me in Hamilton for these reasons, right? So let's go off the luxury tag first. So what do you guys think the biggest problem is for somebody that is looking for luxury real estate? Probably not money.
Which neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Luxury neighborhoods in Kitchener-Waterloo or Hamilton?
Upscale luxury neighborhoods, for sure. They'd want to know which ones they were available. Can you even get granular, like, or am I thinking too much of it? Like from an average, like, minimum household income type of point of view as well?
uh,
Okay, the data
think
does
on the
exist.
paid ads you can, because in Google you can actually like only plant them in front of people that are actually, you know, making a certain amount or something like that. Hidden Valley.
I'd say that the something for searches for people with wealth anyways is safety.
So
So
here's something else that I do a lot too that you
safest
guys can
neighborhood.
see, okay? Now you don't need to have keywords everywhere for this, right? If you go to Google, Google's your best friend, right? I just typed in luxury neighborhoods in Kitchener. If I scroll to the bottom, people also searching for, it also tells you what people are constantly searching for, right? So people are writing in top 10 luxury neighborhoods in Kitchener, right? Luxury neighborhoods in Kitchener, best luxury neighborhoods in Kitchener. It's giving you literally what people are typing in. Like, go make blogs out of all of these, right? I don't even know where Hidden Valley is in Kitchener. It's not my city, but I can tell you as soon as I type this in, I see it here, right? It's even highlighting it for me, right? I scroll down, I see it here. Somebody else made an Instagram post. You see? It's Instagram. That's not even YouTube. Somebody's keywords are in an Instagram post that Google decided to put it on the front page because the keyword is there. This is what I'm getting at. It's insane. People ask like all the time, and my wife chats social media with me a lot too, 'cause she's a content creator. And the question is always, what should I caption this? Because it's not just like throw out a caption anymore. It's no, keyword that. You know, throw something in there that somebody will stumble across, right? And now I can see it all. But you see, my keywords everywhere is helping me out on this connection right here. Hidden Valley Kitchener is typed in 480 times a month. That's insane. That one area, go to Hidden Valley and do a neighborhood tour there with your video camera. Slap it on a blog and put the IDX of all the listings there. Enjoy those leads, you know? Like that's the thing. Like that's the first thing I would probably be doing. I assume Hidden Valley is all luxury.
Ah, it's a shithole.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Well
No,
then
it's
that's
not. It's so
oh,
nice.
it isn't? Okay. Oh my God. I was like, no, that would be
But,
It starts
cool.
at about 3 mil.
From
3
from our like luxury stuff, something that came across that I thought maybe could be useful for this is best private schools in Kitchener-Waterloo.
There you go.
Right.
Because we had a client that was like really wanted that focused on because that was important to them when they purchased.
Yeah. St.
Yeah,
Kilmar.
and then another thing too, right? Like what you said there, best private schools, that's good. But start by typing in more smaller, like private schools Kitchener in Kitchener. Oh wow, 880 people a month. You see? So that's amazing. So now you can take private schools in Kitchener, 880 people a month, and then put your flair on it, right?
Mhm.
Best private schools in Kitchener, right? Or um the only private schools in Kitchener, anything. Just throw something on there. And you're absolutely right. If that's what they're looking for, people that go to private schools, they have money, right?
Emily has a question here. Now, how do you capture these leads? Do you create a contact form, or what is it that you do once you set up your blog, you set up your IDX to have all those, how are you capturing those?
So for me, I'm telling them, like flat out telling them in video at the end after I solve the problem. I remind them that I'm the local realtor real quick. And I say, shoot me an email, give me your call, or send me a text. I love hearing from you guys. Like I let them know I genuinely love hearing from you, because when they hear that, they're like, oh, he wants us to contact him. Like he's open to that, right? Like some people don't think it's like almost when you're like, hey, follow me, subscribe. Can you tell them they do it, you know? So if it's a video, I don't typically say that until the end, or I'll go like my system is very simple. It's like first 30 seconds, I talk about the problem real quick and how I'm going to solve it. Then really quickly, I let them know I'm a local realtor, and then I get back into it because I don't want them to veer off of my video. And then at the end, I'll slap them with like, give me a call, send me a text, or shoot me an email. And I'll say my information's in the description, or I'll just put it in the Instagram post or the TikTok post or whatever that is. And I tell them direct, like, I want to help you with your problem, or I want to help you make this easier for you and stress free. And I tell them to call me, you know? And then if it's a blog, same thing. Like neighborhood blogs are great for IDXs, because then if they're already reading the neighborhood, they're going to want to see houses in that neighborhood. And if they're at the bottom of your blog, they'll just start looking on it. And I know some of you guys, when they click on the house, the pop-up happens, and then they can't look at the house until they fill out the info. That's great. You can do it that way, or you can give them something. It's another great way to do it, is give them something. It could
I
be
was
anything.
I was just gonna ask too, like, so I think the day, and I'm at a crossroad myself based on data collection and lead generation, because I think, dare I say, the pop-ups and the um, withholding information behind a pop-up, I feel as if those days are almost dead, right?
Right.
Where it's like, hey, here's 3 seconds worth of shit, but now you got to give me something. I think
Yeah.
that there's a better way to do that, and I think Emily has a great question there. It's like, how do we collect data? Because at the same time, I think that if you collect data really well, then you can passively market to them over the course of time to become a de facto standard, right? But in your case, you're providing so much value and not really asking for anything, but it seems to
Yeah.
be working.
Yeah.
So, is there a combination or a blend of those two solutions that either you've seen work well,
Yeah.
or maybe it's something that should be testing?
Yeah, personally, I totally agree with you, by the way. I do see a lot of people, and I'm not against dialing. I know a lot of people are like, call 100 leads, I'll get 5 clients. I'm not against any of that. But I know it's harder when you're just like, yeah, you're stealing their information by putting a pop-up there. You
Correct.
know, I've never once by using this system had somebody not want to talk to me. if they
Right.
give me their information or they call you, obviously. And I do think that's what it is. You just provide so much value and give them the piece of info that they're looking for, and then they're ready to call you. Because even personally, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I like reach out to a company for something and I'm like, oh, what are your prices? And then they're like, oh, you got to book this hour-long session with me so that I can sit down and tell it to you. And to me, I'm kind of like, man, like you have a warm buyer right here. Just give me
Yeah.
the price. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I agree with that, man.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a better solution than the traditional, landing pages that just don't allow you to access information without giving data. But at the same time, selfishly, and we're not a cold calling company either, but we certainly do collect a lot of data. So it's like, how do we collect quality data that, to your point, people actually want to talk to you without, you could just go that direction. You don't ask for anything and just provide so much content and goodwill that they call
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I think you have to give them your info, obviously the number and
Yeah.
email and stuff, or the text. I like to tell them three things every single time because I have tested this. I know I always say, shoot me an email, send me a text, or give me a call. Because oddly, I notice people like to do what they want to do. Some only want to text. Some
Yeah.
want to call and some want to email, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like the doctors, for example, they email me every single time. And
Yeah.
I'll email back and I'll hear from them for like 6, 7 hours again. And then they email me again because they're busy people.
Yeah.
And I think that you could also use the book a showing. So like they can book a showing in because it's like just
Right.
so convenient on their time. That would be great. And then I do like the idea of giving them something because it's like I'm giving you this PDF of all the best neighborhoods or what you should know as a first time home buyer or like things like that. But yeah, I think maybe the pop-up days are dying. Or you're
Yeah.
stealing.
Yeah. It does feel that way.
Yeah, yeah,
It's-
it's kind of like because then they can call you on their own time or schedule on their own time. And it's like, you're about to have dinner and that person knocks on your door and you're kind of like, I somewhat want to talk to you, but I'm about to have dinner, man. Like,
Yeah.
get
Right.
out of here. Right? So yeah.
Hey,
But does
Dan,
that kind of help? Sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question. So I know when you mentioned like that one video where you had like the worst places to live, how do you hit on giving the negativity without like, do you ever get kickback from people? Just because like we have a
So
lot of homeless people in Belleville and
yeah,
like it is a big concern for people because there's like a lot of them and it's near really nice century homes.
yeah.
How do you hit on that without getting
So
people?
So not everybody's going to agree with what I'm about to say, but it's okay. I'm all right with it. I lost a listing in one of the neighborhoods that I mentioned that in. Okay. And the listing was about 400 grand. And I wasn't mad that I lost the listing. And the truth is, I don't want to be the recognized agent in that area. That's not, and maybe some people of you guys might be like, no, man, take the business anywhere. And I get it. Some of us want to do that. But I just was I'm like, I don't want to be the neighborhood in that area. I don't want to work in that area. I want to attract the business over in this area, the one that's like, they're calling me and ready to go. They're all high ticket items. That's kind of more what I was. So I do know, and I did know it was gonna get some flack, and I did know that I was gonna lose some leads. But the ratio of leads that I got compared to the ones that I lost is friggin' night and day. So
Yeah.
does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I didn't really I knew that, and I truthfully, I do want to be an honest realtor. I do, So like one of the biggest thing I mentioned was the industrial sector. It's a massive industrial sector. It's loud. There's smoke everywhere. There's like, it's the industrial sector. I get it. There's a lot of business going on over there and they have to have that sector. But I don't want to put my clients there where they're not going to be happy and they're going to deal with that every single day. So that's one thing I said, just stay away from that area, go over here. And I think people also genuinely appreciated the honesty. So some were mad that, oh, I got to sell my house here and this guy just friggin' did that. But others were so thankful and that's kind of how that went.
Okay,
So
Gotta
cool.
pick a lane.
yeah, I think so,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So. But yeah, and then I guess one more thing I want to talk about really quickly. If you guys are already have a million listings, you guys are doing listings. And again, I see this all the time. People go to their listing, they get their videographer to do the video for them. You're already there, you're going to do it anyway. You go and slap it online, and the title of it is the address. Don't do that. Okay? Put the title in the description, put the title in the blog below it, okay? The reason why is because search engine, right? If somebody's typing in the address of the property, they already know about the property. I want people that don't know about the property. So if I'm listing something under 700K, let's say, my title will probably be more along the lines of homes for sale under 700,000, right? In Kitchener, Ontario. So anybody that goes to Google that has a pre-approval under 700,000 that types that in can stumble across my listing. Does that make sense? Right? Now keep in mind, I'll still have the address underneath it so they can search it up if they want to, but take advantage of those videos that you're already doing and push them out there.
Hey Dan, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, let's say you're making a YouTube video or you're writing a blog based on the keywords there. Is there any other way that you're manipulating the algorithm to make your posts be higher without paying? Or is it really just the title and the description?
So I'm never ever paying, right? And I know it's one of those things people say like, why? Because they're not searching for that information. So Google and YouTube can't figure out the audience that I'm trying to get on top of it, right? They'll start throwing it in front of everybody in that area and they're not even searching, right? So to answer the question, it's keywords, my voice if it's a video, because there is an AI like system inside the video that picks up what you're saying, the title, the description. But yeah, it's really the keyword, and try not to slap a million keywords in it. I learned that too. Just pick one or two and you can chain them, right? But they're both similar things that go into the content. And it's like, you ever take, I like to try to say to people, you ever take or you go to the Indigo and you're looking for a new book. You grab the book, you take the back of it, you read that real quick, and you know everything that book is about. That's your description, just like that, right? My same thing of my post. I'm like, this is the back of my book. Here's my title, here's my keywords. I put it in and it'll rank. And I make sure over time, Google will pick it up and pick it up and pick it up. Now, of course, your content still has to be good. Your blog needs to be informative. And same with your video, because the other thing Google does and YouTube does and these platforms do, all of them do this. This is the biggest thing nowadays. They track how long somebody read your post, how long they looked at it, how long they watched it, all of that stuff. Because all of these apps, this is another cool thing, they're all competing against each other. TikTok wants you on there longer than YouTube. YouTube wants you on longer than them. So if they see that you have this content that you posted that's attracting somebody to stay on it for a long period of time, they will take that and throw it out there to as many people as they possibly can that are similar people that are reading it. And then what happens is it snowballs, it blows up, right? It really starts to push. So that's to answer the question, that's exactly what I would do for it.
Thanks, Dan.
And then one more thing before we jump off, guys. Pay attention to where the market is at the time, always. Okay, and build your avatar and your content around that. Okay, so to give you an example, when it was a seller's market a few years ago, or the last seller's market we had, I shifted my content towards solving the problem to sell your house. Even though it was an easy thing to do, I wanted listings because that's as many like easy, quick deals. I know I got a listing in a seller's market, it's gone. Right now, I believe we're in a buyer's market. I shift everything now towards buyers because I want as many buyers as I can right now, because there's so much inventory and so many listings out there that if you have a buyer, I'm like, oh, this is easily getting done. I got so much to choose from. The world's their oyster, right? So when you see that, I shifted this, give it a lot away here, but I shifted this strategy towards Toronto recently because I noticed, I'm like, wow, people are really having a hard time selling their condos in Toronto right now. So I'm like, okay, now I get it. It's hard to sell a condo, but I bet you if you shifted on how to sell condos and started putting content together that, you get a bunch of condo listings, right? Better yet, you get a bunch of buyers that are looking to buy condos in Toronto. How easy do you think that's going to be for you to close those deals, right? So avatar, problem, what's going on in the market, create what you think you should do for the next 2 months, 3 months. Every single year in November, October, I sit myself down and I say, okay, what do I think is going to happen in January? I want to have a good January. I want to blow this up. And I create everything towards that, because I know in December, a lot of people are at home typing stuff in, watching videos, researching, and they're all online. And I'm going to have as many little seeds out there as I possibly can for them to read during Christmas. Cool.
10:31. Woohoo.
Yeah, sorry, I could rant all day. I don't, but
Man, that was unreal, to say the least. I'm actually texting with a few people on this call right now to remain nameless of some ideas that like literally we're already thinking of and elevating our business and working smarter, not harder, in everyday life, but in this real estate business, man. That was incredible, dude. What do you guys think about today's session?
Excellent.
My wife's already doing it. She's got
There
a
you
list
go.
in Hamilton, and she's like, "So what's the title?"
What?
Jill's already
Man,
working on it.
I was fired, Dan.
Yeah,
Appreciate you. That was
that was
I'm
awesome.
crazy.
sorry, I just see all these messages in the chat. I wasn't reading them, but if you guys need, just DM me. Feel free. If you guys want that Google slideshow that I just did too, send me an email and I'll add you to it so you can see it. But this is being recorded, so I'm sure Brandon and Micah and the guys will set it out. But again, I think we're doing this on the collective every month, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're doing a call every month. Yeah, Micah, make sure he'll get it up
Yeah,
on the Facebook page.
First Wednesday of every month. This will be on our Real Estate Collective website under our masterminds. All of our live video feed are there, or recorded video feeds are there, and then it also goes on Facebook as well.
Cool.
Sweet guys.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate
That's
it.
awesome. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks,
Awesome.
Dan.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Take care. Enjoy the day.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you, man. Have a great
All
day,
right.
guys.
Thanks so
See
much.
you guys later.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was awesome.